Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales by Moonlight. Please don't forget to like the video. Also, comment where you're watching from and subscribe to enable us bring fascinating stories to your ears. Thank you. This is another interesting African tale, so sit back, listen, and enjoy.
Growing up, I always felt different. Not in the way most kids do when they are trying to figure out who they are, but truly different. I didn't fit in. I did things in a way that others found peculiar. Naturally introverted, preferred my own company over others. In secondary school, my classmates would often say I had a unique way of doing things. Although at that time I didn't take it as an insult, in fact, I felt cool about myself, especially my ability to control how I felt and behaved. Physically, I was handsome. My looks often attracted girls, but I managed to resist the temptations that came with it. Thanks to what I believe in self-control and discipline, it helped me grow myself. Growing up in a Christian home, there were topics we didn't discuss with our parents, so I didn't even question things like why sometimes my scrotum would seem smaller than my little brother's. It didn't occur to me that something might have been wrong as at that time. As the years passed, without understanding the depth of my problem, currently as an adult, I find myself unable to keep a relationship. It's been really hard on me. My siblings often joke about my bad luck with finding a good date, not realizing the pain behind these jokes. My first girlfriend was a loving and caring young girl. We dated for 2 years without sex. It wasn't an issue for me, since I didn't know what sex felt like, but it became a problem for her. She kept on bugging me, disturbing that she wanted it. She needed it, and I knew I would lose her if I didn't comply. So I tried to make it a goal to try to do it the first time. My first attempt at sex ended in a fatal failure, to be honest. I couldn't get an erection. I blamed it on anxiety. Although sometimes she was supportive at first, she tried to give hope, encourage me. The second and third attempts, they were even worse than the first one. Finally, she told me I should see a doctor, because seeing a doctor would help, because she felt I had a very big issue that needs to be solved. At first, I was shy about seeing a doctor about it, so I just said okay. Sex became the wedge. It became like a big wall. Finally, it drove us apart, and then we broke up. The next relationship I had, they all followed the same pattern like my first. The last girl, she just told me instantly, "You are impotent," direct to my face, as narrated. That was when it hit me that this was very serious. So I went to see a urologist. After a series of blood tests, it was confirmed that I had low testosterone, way below normal. I couldn't believe I had a problem like this until I did a sperm analysis. The results showed I had oligospermia with 95% abnormality. Further tests revealed I had hypogonadism. It was unclear if it was primary or secondary. This actually means Oligospermia means these are intermittent sperm, not able to produce at its normal rate. Also, hypogonadism means the gonads, which is the sex hormones for males, and the sex glands for males, they are not at their normal size, they are smaller. Going on, either way, this felt like a harsh reality to face. I couldn't help but ask myself, why did I do this by going to see the doctor? But I also knew I had to ask myself more, what did I do to deserve this? How would I convince a girl to marry me now? Was there really a God? Why was a man like me made to face such terrible incidents? Also, why was I a man if I lacked what he needed to be one? So I doubt if I was even a man. I kept researching. Every solution I had seems impractical. I had some weird things I had to do. Some were even expensive, some downright ridiculous. Some said I have to inject myself with testosterone for 6 months before I could make love to my wife. Some said I should inject my manhood to stay up before sex. Some said I should bring alpha blockers like Viagra. This really had no effect on me. Apart from sexual performance, I've found out science is still trying to understand male fertility. I also found out there will be many experimental treatments and it could take years to see results. If it were so simple, why were the cases of 25 years without a child, or couples who never had children and ended up adopting? Why were there so many drugs and injections if one didn't work? I felt I was standing on the edge of a bridge, contemplating about ending it all. What was the point of making all this money only to sit in an empty house, sad and lonely? The days following my diagnosis were some of the darkest part of my life. I isolated myself even more than usual, burying myself in work to distract myself from the emptiness. My family noticed this at subtle rates, but their well-meaning attempt to make me feel better, they just gave me space. I didn't need pity at all. I needed a solution, something tangible that I could grasp onto. But everything I turned to, there seemed to be answers nowhere, only questions. One night, after a particular grueling day at work, I found myself sitting alone in my apartment staring at the walls. I had accomplished so much professionally, but it all felt meaningless. What was the point if I couldn't share my life with someone? The thought of never being able to have a child, hit me very hard. And being a father, this hit me at a very serious rate. I'd always imagined having a family someday. The laughter of children, the joy of watching them grow, teaching them how to ride a bike, how to swim, how to make a kite, make water boats. It all seemed so far out of reach. So during one of these low points that I decided I couldn't keep living like this, I had two choices. Continue down this path of despair or fight back. So I chose to fight. I began researching everything I could about hypogonadism and low testosterone. I joined an online forum, even joined support group where men with similar issues share their stories and experiences. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore. Interacting with them, I learned various treatments, options that I hadn't considered before. I found a new doctor who specialized in hormone therapy and male fertility issues. He was patient and understanding, taking the time to explain my condition in detail and discuss the potential treatments. We decided on a course of testosterone replacement therapy combined with lifestyle changes such as diet, and exercise to boost my overall health. The treatments were slow, and there were many days where I felt it wasn't working. As everything you do when you start, it feels like there's no progress. But gradually, I began to notice more change. My energy levels increased. I started feeling more positive about life. My voice deepened. I started to get good muscle mass. My hair started growing from my facial hair to the top of my head. I was almost going bald. I even began to socialize more. My old friends, they came, and I also made new friends. So one of these social outings, I met Lisa. Lisa was different from any girl I've ever met. She was kind, intelligent, and had a warmth that drew people to her. Immediately, we had this spark. Hence, we spent more time together. I found myself falling for her, but the fear of rejection lingered. How could I tell her about my condition? Would she walk away like the others? One evening, as we were sitting on the bench by the lake, I decided it was time to tell her the truth. I took a deep breath, shared my story, bracing myself for a reaction. And lo and behold, she didn't even flinch or pull away. Instead, she took my hand. This feeling can't be explained, was narrated. She said, "Thank you for telling me. I can't imagine how hard this must be for you, but I am here. We'll figure this out together." Her words brought tears to my eyes for the first time in a long time. I felt hopeful. We continued dating, and Lisa was by my side throughout every step of my treatment. She accompanied me to the doctor's appointment. She followed me, encouraged me on the days I felt like giving up. Her support was a beacon of light in my life. As my treatment progressed, my condition began to improve. The testosterone therapy started showing positive effects, and my doctor was optimistic about my chances of fathering a child someday. Lisa and I discussed our future together, and while we knew there would be challenges, we were committed to facing them as a team. We explored various options for having children, including assisted reproductive technologies, even adoption. The journey was long and fraught with emotional ups and downs, but we persevered. Along the way, we grew closer, our relationship strengthened by the trials we faced. In the midst of our struggles, I began to rediscover my faith. Growing up in a Christian home, I had always believed in God, but my condition had shaken that belief. I couldn't understand why this was happening to me. However, I navigated through the difficulties with Lisa by my side. I started to see things positively. I realized that faith wasn't about having all the answers. It was about finding strength and hope in the midst of uncertainty. I began attending church again, seeking solace in prayer and finding comfort in the community. Lisa, who shared my faith, was a pillar of support, encouraging me to lean on to my belief during tough times. After years of trying different methods, we decided to adopt. And as the year went by, we got married. And finally, she gave birth. This event made my life wholesome, and I felt I could once more be a father. Meeting Lisa created a real beacon of hope in my life, and I wish everyone out there having these issues, never give up, stay steadfast.